That's Garth Tander stopped. Garth Tander stopped and looks like a lot of damage. A lot of damage, massive damage.
Just locked. Wouldn't turn, had to try and get in front of that GRM car.
So we'll have a look at this. This is Garth Tander trying to get by the GRM car, won't turn, and straight in. Oh, that has made very heavy contact.
And that would hurt. That one would physically hurt.
Have a look, this is on board. Oh, that is a big hit. Garth Tander on relatively cold tyres. And the reason that happens is you see a car in pit lane coming out, you need to be super deep under brakes to get across the front.
Now watch Garth in this. Look at the movement in the driver. Wow, that's taken an almighty chunk out of that Tol HRT Commodore, but it's a teeth rattler for Garth Tander as well. He radioed back that he was okay. I reckon he'll be feeling it later tonight, though.
Oh, see, this is the circumstance. You've got to get by. So the reason he was so deep under brakes is to get by the Fujitsu car. And then with cold tyres, you can't get the car turned. This is Garth now, just getting out of the HRT car.
So 7th position.
In the wall, cleans in the wall in the Bottle car. And do they all manage to scramble around? That's the question. Massive damage. This will trigger a safety car.
Safety car, Ryan. Safety car. We've got the track blocked about. Track is blocked to the beach. Safety car, mate. The engine off, please, Christian. Shut the engine off, please.
It's Dave Patterson, engineer, there in the foreground.
I think Darren Turner may have just come past and rubbed the front of that car on the way through, but I don't think he did any damage.
Okay, Ryan.
Good news is that Christian is okay, straight into the medical car, and he'll be whisked straight back to pit lane. But safety car first time around.
I think car one did actually make contact with it. Paul Dumbrell looking on.
We'll have a look and see what happens here. Focus on the Bottle car, and
it's Magnussen.
Got him.
Yeah, so car 39, super cheap auto entry. Magnussen sharing with Russell Ingall. He's in the GM Corvette program in the US.
Yeah, so Magnussen went across the chicane, and as Christian Clean came back.
How close was that for Darren Turner? He did pick up a little bit of damage as he scuffed across the nose of that car. So that's given the barrier a big whack down there as well.
Oh, a lot of damage on those two Commodores.
Van Gisbergen is the driver in 97 at the moment.
So this will be safety car because they're going to shut it down, I think. They're going to shut down car 97. Scott Pye. So he's exiting pit lane.
Oh. Bang.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy, we just saw a replay, mate. Nothing you can do. Nothing you can do.
So Lowndes comes screaming through at full pace. Pye's wide, leaving pit lane into that tyre bundle. And Shane Van Gisbergen, who's tracking behind Lowndes at this stage, has nowhere to go but right into the rear of this car.
How lucky is that for Lowndes?
Back live on the Gold Coast at the Umrall 600, and high drama here. Car 22, Greg Murphy, for the second event in a row, has huge damage to the Holden Racing Team Commodore. It is busted beyond belief, and he is shattered again. The other part of this story is car number one, our championship leading car with Paul Dumbrell behind the wheel involved. He's got massive damage too to the front.
Do your best to stop on us. Just take it easy. Come in slowly.
That's a heartbreaking image.
Gee, that's huge damage.
Second time in 14 days. Does the replay unravel this mystery?
Well, Murphy reported back that he was just drilled from behind and sent into the fence. So that's car 3 in front, the high flex car. But watch this. Unloaded at high speed. Look at the damage already to car number 1, the Red Bull racer. is all bashed in, and then the impact of Murph's is enough to throw that car, almost 1.5 tons of V8 supercar, back out onto the circuit after it hit the wall.
Oh, serious shunt. Lucky Greg let go of the steering wheel there. He would have broken his wrist. This is James Golding, car number 30. Big damage through the high-speed Virgin Australia chicane. Let's have a look in replay. So he's got big air, run wide, hit the concrete wall and ripped the right corner. In fact, it's got both corners. So left front and right rear corner of the Wilson security entry. Big damage flag. And that's a shame. James has just renewed his arrangements with Gary Rogers through 2019 and was a run at Mount Panorama. I thought it was great. It was a bit unheralded. He ended up in 8th position.
So a little bit wide, wasn't he, at the first part?
And it's sat up.
Yep.
And then that makes the left-hand part of the corner too acute.
Yep.
And by this stage, out of the under tray.
Barry Rogers, small mistakes here have huge consequences, don't they? You've just seen that replay. Looks like a lot of damage to the right side and left side of the car.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, the concrete walls around here, not much room for error. And anyway, if it's going to happen, I suppose, first session on a Friday.
Oh, and a big crash for Will Brown. Whoa, 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 everybody. They've got the yellows out. Here we go. It's going to hit. There you go. That was going to be close, but the yellows, I don't know whether they were out before the chicane. Could see them on the way out, but it's blind.
Yeah, I'm with you, Davey.
I don't know whether that one, I couldn't see the one on the top there, whether that was out.
Now, there'll be double stacking. Most are going to react to this. Stephen Richards is at the ready. That's a big hit for Will Brown. Unfortunately for Steve Owen, he moved to the right. So watch the traffic jam in here now. We're riding with Paul Dumbrell. So here is what happened. So let's understand.
Oh,
shocking impact with the inside wall for Will Brown, and then he's made heavy contact with the outside wall. These are the risks. Now, Steve Owen, unfortunately, in Richie Stanaway's car, makes the wrong decision. He decides to go for a gap, and it was only 7/8 of a car wide. Plucked the front left out of that car. Here's Will. Watch it. Listen. And then watch for Steve Owen at the back of this queue.
He's looking. Oh, he knew. He was looking. How are Will's eyes there? He knew what was going on. There you go. Here's going to be another shot. Have a look down to your right. Bang. So the light rail people that were transporting themselves down towards the hub of Service Paradise, they would have been right next to that on the train. Here we go. So right there, and look to your right. There you go. That was Steve Owen.
Oh, on its roof. This is not good. That's one of the Shell V-Power racing cars.
McLaughlin.
And that's the McLaughlin car. Up on its roof with the right rear wheel missing. It's made huge contact with the wall. He's okay. This is red flag the session. This is Scott McLaughlin, who's the fastest out there at the moment, has had a monumental. Bated breath inside the garage there. So
Shane's going to get out and check he's okay.
Jumped out to make sure he's okay.
Great sportsmanship.
So the medical team on the job. We saw shots on board of Scott getting out all okay. So he's come out of the chicane and made big contact with that wall on the right-hand side. It's ripped the right rear corner out of that car, and they need to stabilise it. So that's the reason why everybody's just making sure that he gets out safely, and they'll need to roll that thing back down on its wheels.
Great reaction from the crowd too there, Neil. True sportsmanship in this game, and it's fantastic to see Scott get out and walk away. Fantastic for Shane to be there.
And despite the intensity on the racetrack and the battle that they're having in the championship,
he's hurt.
And drivers looking after each other in these circumstances. So he was pretty ginger as he walked towards the Vodafone medical car. Adrian Burgess, the head of motorsport for Supercars, in the white shirt with Ryan Story. Ben Croak, crew chief there, and the engineer is Ludo Lacroix. Now let's see what happened here on the replay. Oh my goodness, that is a shocking angle. That is a nasty, nasty angle. And that has gone in very, very hard. This is a game changer. It's the onboard. Let's look and listen. Got the left-hand wall. That's a shocker. He's got the left-hand wall, and then it's ricocheted across the road at 45 degrees and gone straight into the right-hand wall. And that's going to be significant damage on that car. Will it be turned around in time for the race this afternoon was a big question. And what's Scott's ultimate condition here? Here it is again from the other angle on the curb cam. So too much curbs fired him straight into the wall. Now he's been pushing the limits there all weekend. He's had several moments of contact there. But that's a nasty angle that's gone in.
But I think it's actually missed the tyre and hit the actual wall on the left side, hasn't it?
Looks like it.
Yeah. So what's actually pinballed it so hard, and this is this great reaction, well done to Champagne Gisbergen. Talk about rivalries and the way this business operates, but there's a great level of camaraderie amongst the drivers. And Shane, who's been battling with McLaughlin for many years, both Kiwis, for him to get out of the car and run over there is a great indication of the level of respect that the competitors have for each other. And great to see Dick Johnson there also looking on intently. Great to see Scott McLaughlin get out of that car okay.
Oh, that does not look good. What's gone on here for Cam Waters? That looked a bit sad and sorry, didn't it? That image that we took there with a cabin filled with smoke in the Monster Energy car.
Mate, I think I'm okay, but I've had a moment.
He's had a moment.
Copy, mate, copy. Get in this lap, make sure the car's okay. Come down to the stop.
Full of smoke. What was it all about? So cleanly through the... Through the first part of the chicane. That's why it was filled with smoke. How did he get away with that? He should bless himself after that one. So he's thrown it in there Speedway style. It's clobbered the exit barrier, and then he's spun it on the exit. Check this one out. And he's picked up the throttle. His go-kart picked up the throttle to keep it off the wall, and that's the reason why there was all the choking smoke. Ride with this one, folks. Bummer. Wow, so Mostert and Waters have now come to the lane. That's a monstrous trouble here.
Safety car boards and flags.
That is an extraordinary incident. There are cars everywhere. Golding's right in the centre of it. Courtney's backwards. Hazelwood, Smith.
Red flag, red flag.
Red flag. Slade in the middle of it. There's got to be 10 cars there, hasn't there?
Lee Holdsworth, enormous damage on the front of the Penrite car. James Golding's car, terrible. Macaulay Jones.
Brock Feeney.
Are you okay? Are you okay? Make sure you're okay.
So this is Macaulay Jones and
Sorry.
Pertamina backing on that car this weekend. New livery and trouble also for Todd Hazelwood up at turn 11. Goodness me, there's a fire going on there at the front of the Macaulay Jones entry, and this is extremely bad news for Brad Jones, who's already had a cost. Oh, they need to get that out in a hurry.
He's going to press the onboard fire extinguisher system is what they're doing. So Nick Percat actually went back over to try to help with Macca and actually put the onboard system. Here we go. Now, James Golding has actually grabbed a fire extinguisher from the local officials. So is Brock Feeney. Well done. The level of cooperation there and sportsmanship between those competitors. Well done. Nick Percat, James Golding, Brock Feeney. That's Macca there, isn't it, in the foreground?
That was the voice of Paul Martin in the background. So he was talking to somebody in the Tickford crew there in relation to Waterstoke. Does this unpack what's gone on here? Oh, yes, horrible moment then for James Golding. And then all this lot have got nowhere to go. They have literally arrived in the middle of a gigantic accident. So it starts with James Golding tripping over right here, gets it crossed up, launches across the top of the curb, lucky not to roll it, and that has had the effect of tripping over Randall, and then the rest of them are all doing 150 kilometres an hour, and they drive smack bang into the middle of a gigantic mess. And that's going to take some time to clean up. I think I can say with a reasonable degree of confidence that all drivers are okay and out. Man. So James let go of the wheel and crossed his arms there. So that was a shocker. This is the view from Thomas Randall's car. At least he gets to scoot out the other side. But what's gone on behind him at this stage is high-grade warfare, and that's not a good sign. That looks like, excuse me, a lot of damage around the front of Macaulay Jones' car, and that's going to be very, very costly, that one.
Damage-wise, so, you know, to top that up here this weekend is disappointing, to say the least.
Thanks, Brad. So just looking at that replay one more time, James Golding in the subway car number 31 gets crossed up in the high-speed chicane midway up the back straight, turns 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the view from Thomas Randall's car. Watch what happens, Jay. Got a lot of air in the middle, and then that actually sent him across the top of the island. And then Thomas caught the tyres, that flicked him to the right. But what's going on behind while all this is unfolding is a great pile of cars, all doing 150 odd kilometres an hour, just drive straight into the scene. So the Courtney car, it was lucky that thing didn't end up on its roof.
Yeah.
And then that's about where we picked it up, where there's a good 8 or so cars all just parked at varying angles. And this was perhaps the greatest concern. But I'll hazard a guess that there was fluid on the road down here as well. Here it is in real time. That's the sound of money. He's sitting third in our championship at the moment. He got back to position number 11 from last. So for me, that's a mighty job. Oh, and he's given the wall a big, big thump and turned it around. No way. We've seen the tightest and toughest margins down there. And we've seen a few people get away with it. That time, he didn't.
And as soon as it turned right, it was immediately out of control. So watch this. Turns right, and then as soon as he got the inside curb with it, it just jumped it wide and gone.
Saw a couple of replays earlier in the weekend where the inside rear wheel, when it catches, it catches the upside of that ramp. That sound is horrific. Can't believe he's actually driven the thing away. That was a biggie. Check this out. So just watch if the replay shows us that inside right wheel, yeah, it's hopped so far over, it just picked itself up off the deck and thrown the left rear into the tyres. And you can see all the scuffing down the left-hand side. Can't believe it didn't rip the left-hand corner off the back of it.
It did look like he needed to turn it in slightly too early. So instead of the initial turn being tighter, it looked like he had to get the car to the corner because he was battling to stop.
And troubles for James Courtney. Big damage on the snout of that car, so it's tripped up and over those same curbs that we were talking about. Only unlike Hazelwood, he's not been able to get away with it. So it's launched over the top and gone headlong into the wall. Considering the speed on the approach there, it probably could have been a lot worse, but that is going to sideline James Courtney for some time as they now try to rectify. And he'll have to feel his way around this racetrack. How's the onboard? Be looking out the driver's side, proximity to the wall to be able to get that thing back. Sam Scaffidi's the engineer for the car, so an awkward trip over the curbing for James. Now Golding...
there's going to be a massive shunt. That was unbelievable. He spun that car around and Scott Pye had nowhere to go.
And here's the reason why. So there was some wild stuff going on in the background. That's Waters Here we go with James. He's given the tyres a big belting there and rotated out the other side. I saw him go down the order. You spotted all this going on, but Pye is a victim in the process in the Hino entry. Right now, there. And that's pretty significant damage on car number 20. So he's grabbed a gear, rotated it, but at the same time, and I wonder how that'll be viewed. Here we are on board now with James, and we've been talking up the possibility of a podium for him. Big contact. Remember, he was in strife on the Sunday here in the fast chicane last year, James Golding. And this is the view for Scott Pye. Nowhere to go for him as that other car, number 20, the Hino car, was starting to move. I beg your pardon, the Newlon car was starting to move to the right, and the Hino car nowhere to go.